Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Jim Coppinger with ZenTek Consultants, and today we're going to talk about the three things that Civil 3D should be doing for you automatically. All right, so we're going to kind of cover a few simple objects that we try to use with all of our clients here at ZenTek to make their lives a good bit easier when dealing with Civil 3D software. So let's go ahead and jump into the presentation. For those of you who aren't familiar with this, we're ZenTek Consultants. We work primarily as consultants to the architecture, engineering, construction firms. We work very heavily in the Autodesk arena, but we also do quite a lot of work where Microsoft cloud solutions providers, as well as working with the programs like Bluebeam and PlanSwift in the construction, project management, and estimating world. So really, whatever your software needs are, right, throughout your entire life cycle of your project, if you're, an initial architect through owners and all the way through final construction and turnover, we're here to support and train your staff. All right, so we hope you guys will keep us in mind for other things beyond just Civil 3D. All right, so today, like I said, we're going to be talking about three simple tools, three things that you can do that you can structure and set up primarily in your templates or with a little bit of training. We're going to show you what Civil 3D can do for you. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is how you can automatically draft all of your survey line work. Now, most of us, hopefully, are familiar with the Civil 3D survey module, right? And you can structure the Civil 3D survey module so that when you're doing point import, it will actually do some of your automatic, line work drafting for your base map, right? The issue that I run into with that, and it's not, I'm going to show you what the problems are with that today. It's not the feature I'm going to show you. The problem that I have with that is that it generates strictly figures, right? And survey figures have their own particular editing concerns, right? And they're hard to use in terms of regular drafting and surface creation, and they have their own specific interface for making modifications to a survey figure rather than basic polyline and 3D polyline drafting that everyone's used to and has been using for decades, right? So instead, what we use here at ZenTek and what we push to most of our clients is PConnect, which is a real low-cost utility that lets you actually bring in and generate your line work as 2D polylines and also as 3D polylines using your own standard survey point codes. All right, so let's see how that works. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to jump real fast over to Civil 3D. I'm going to start off just kind of explaining. This is a very simple site plan that I generated using the built-in Civil 3D figure prefix database. Right? And these are all survey figures. Now, the problem that you're going to run into if you do the survey figures, they work, right? They're a little difficult to set up, require some maintenance and a good understanding of the survey back end. But the real problem comes in when you have to go and you want to start to edit and modify, right? So you say, for example, something simple like cleaning up the driveway as it ties into this road that's passing through here. Simple things like going in and saying, hey, I just want to trim out at the apron. Say I can't do that with figures. Right? To do any kind of figure editing, you have to click on the figures and you have to go up and you have to start dealing with editing the geometry, radius curves, break lines, things like that has its own set of editing tools completely separate from standard drafting, 2D drafting practice. So, and that's where most people we've found, a lot of even our survey companies are moving away from using the survey prefix database. And instead, what they're doing is they're working with us to try and bring in very simple things like our, sorry, I'm just erasing an object out there, Smart Draft PConnect, right? And PConnect, what it lets you do is actually very similar to how the survey database works, right? But it's got some additional features in terms of you can use either, out of the box descriptor codes, ones that ZenTek's developed for you, or if you've already got your own set of point codes that your field crews are using and you want to adapt those and adjust those, you can absolutely use all of those. Right? And what this lets you do is go in and you can very easily go and just grab a standard text file. So you see I'm just grabbing an example TXT. It's just a simple PNEZD point code, right? And I'm just going to bring that in and I'm going to select all of my drawing layers. And you see what I'm going to do is I'm going to set these to draw as 2D polylines, okay? right? And I can even do things getting more advanced. I'm not going to get into it today, where I can add suffix codes and have it draw particular shapes and close items. It's got a lot of functionality in it, but on a very basic level, right? I'm just going to tell this, hey, I want you to go ahead and actually bring in, right, and draw the line work. And you see it draws pretty much the exact same structure, right, that I had when I brought in the survey figure prefix database. But the difference is all of this are 2D polylines. So it can very easily just go in and just do basic drafting on these items, trim them, clean them up, move them, edit them. It's all 2D drafting, handled and set for you using PConnect. It's a very simple way to be able to do it. And the way that it works, right, in general, is it just links and it structures using, as you can see here, the basic point codes that your people are going to be collecting out in the field, right? And it's just tying and connecting those using prefixes and structures in the exact same way that the survey prefix figure database works, right? And as a matter of fact, you can actually even use your Civil 3D survey database. So if you guys have already generated those, or you have those already set and structured for jobs and you want to use PConnect instead, you can do that, right? I can bring in points from the project, points that are already in a drawing, or points from an external text file like I just did. And now the other thing I want to show you guys real quick, right, as far as automating your drafting process when you're dealing with PConnect, right, is it has one other tool that I am a big fan of. I'm just going to do this real quick. It also allows you to actually generate, right, as 3D polylines instead of 2D polylines. Right, now I'm going to go in here, I'm just going to select everything, but I could just as easily go in and pick and structure layers and items that I want to work with, okay? In other words, I could go in and just bring in buildings, just bring, or a few of these layers. I'm just going to do all just for speed's sake today, but I'm going to bring these all in as 3D polylines, all on the same layer. Right? And this is a great way to be able to very quickly add break line information to your project to build your surfaces. And you see that it brought all of these items, right, in as 3D polylines, right? So I can easily grab and take a look at those. And you see if I go in, I'm just going to pop these open in my object viewer real fast, right? That if we go in and tilt those up, you'll see that all of these were actually brought in at actual elevations. You can see that all of these items that I have here, and I know I caught a couple of vegetation lines, which I normally wouldn't put in, but you can see my roads, buildings, everything already done as 3D polylines that I can then very easily go in and add to my surfaces and get really good, accurate, quick surfaces just on basic import of my point codes, right, from any particular project. So it's a major benefit, right? So that's PConnect, and it's one of the first and quickest items that you can use to automate your survey line work. So like I said, PConnect, it's a product, very inexpensive product, it's only a few $100s that you can pick up directly from ZenTek Consultants. And to go along with that, we can help you guys custom configure, right, your survey point codes to the PConnect standards, or the other way. If you've already got your in-house codes established, we can customize PConnect for you so that it'll work with what you already have, all right? And if you guys don't have point codes or descriptor keys, we can help you develop those from scratch. We can train you on the full use of PConnect, right? And we even offer ongoing support contracts just in general to help you with not only PConnect, but all of your Civil 3D needs. So you guys can reach out to us for help whenever they need it. All right, so let's move on to our second point here today, right? Which is the one that most people really like. And it's one of those things that works in basic Civil 3D, right? And this is one of those things that we spend a lot of time doing with folks. And it really comes down to how you structure your templates and properly building your templates to automate a lot of these Civil 3D procedures, right? And this is something we do quite a bit of, right? So the idea here is that instead of just having a template that has, point symbol and point label setups in it, you can actually build and predefine your point groups as standard named point groups inside your templates. They're empty, they don't have any points in them, but think of them as placeholders, and then we can use those groups, right? We can assemble and nest the point groups together, right, into one master group that we can then link directly to a pre-named surface in that template, right? So that's kind of a long-winded explanation. It makes more sense when we look at it. So let's go jump back over to Civil 3D, right? And here we go. right? And this is the one I want, right? The auto surface point. Oh, my Civil 3D is auto saving. Give me 1 second. All right, so here's where we can go in and we can actually start working. You can see that what I've got here is a drawing that I built from one of our standard ZenTek templates, and you'll see that it's an empty drawing, it has nothing in it, right? I just initially created, but you'll see that all of my point groups are already established. There's no points in here. You see there are no points in this drawing at the moment. It's completely empty. But basically what we've done here is we've taken all of these point groups and we're automatically filtering based on our point codes into predefined groups. And then the correct point groups have been nested up and tied to the ZenTek Topo group right here. Right? And then that ZenTek Topo group has been tied, right, as part of the definition, right, underneath our existing surface right here. Right, so that I can go in and actively add whatever in. You can see that if you go down here, I'm using the topo point group. Right, so what does that mean? Once you've structured it all this way, it really comes down to just being able to go in and just do an insert. Right, and I'm going to grab a point file. Right, and I'm just going to browse out to my point files here, and I'm going to use that same PConnect example text, the same point file I used on the previous drawing. And like I told you, it's nothing but a basic PNEZD, right? Point number, northing, easting, description, elevation. All right, and I'm just going to bring that point in. Just going to bring that group in. There's nothing else going on in here. I just bring it in. Right? It takes a second to import the points, particularly when I'm doing a video share. It moves a little bit slower. Right? But you can see that it brought all my points in. Right? And the big thing here is now all I have to do is go over to this ZenTek Topo group and just update it. You see, as soon as I update that, right, just like that, my surface is built. I've got everything done because, like I said, I've got all of these predefined point groups tied into the ZenTek Topo. And the ZenTek Topo group, right, is already tied as part of the definition of my existing surface. So just by importing my points, I automatically have my existing surface generated for me and ready to go. That's it, right? It's an extremely simple setup, but it's one of those items, and there are dozens and dozens of items similar to this, that you want to set up and structure inside of your Civil 3D templates, right? So it should become the kind of thing that your staff shouldn't have to worry about. They shouldn't be spending time on every project developing point groups, using the point groups to build surfaces, right? That can take hours and hours of time on every single one of your jobs, whereas it really should be that fast, okay? It's as simple as it can get, right? So with that said, I'm gonna go jump back over here to our, oops, sorry, I went to the wrong screen. There we go. All right. So like I said, when you're instantly building your surface upon import, or like I said, dozens of other items, right? All depends upon the templates for Civil 3D that you guys have in place. And I wanted to point out to you guys that ZenTek Consultants specializes in helping civil and site firms develop their Civil 3D templates. As a matter of fact, we have a Civil 3D Kickstart program, right, which has a number of fully developed templates for different types of work, like you can see there on the screen: survey, site, civil, profile, right? And you can use those as a great starting point. We can customize them to your needs, or if you've already got templates, right, that you're kind of happy with, you just need to tweak them and get some of this more advanced intelligence tied into them, we're here to help you guys develop and work on those as well. So please keep us in mind for that. All right, so number 3. Right? And again, this is one of those areas that's a very simple concept, and it really comes down more to understanding how Civil 3D works. Right? And a lot of times, too many of our people have learned how to do 4 or 5 basic things within Civil 3D, and they know if I click here and I tie that and I do this, I get this result. They don't really understand the details, the options, the whys, right? And this is the kind of thing that you can do when your people really start to fully understand the Civil 3D tools and how they work interactively, right? So we're talking about using a corridor, right, to dynamically link your subdivision and grading designs directly to your corridor. In other words, what we're going to do is we're going to extract, right? Actually, I've already done it, but you extract a feature line, right, from your corridor, and you leave it dynamically linked to the corridor. That way, whenever the corridor is updated, you make changes to your road design or your templates, right? The slopes, the inlets, the outlets, whatever it is you're doing on your corridor, right? The attached grading for your subdivision, right, is already set and going on the other side. And something just happened. It looks like I lost my Civil 3D. Oh no, I hope I didn't. Oh, I did. Boo. All right. Yep, my Civil 3D. Oh, it's crashed on me. Why wouldn't it? No, don't save anything. I don't know what I did there. All right, but just give me 1 second if I'm gonna keeps go. No, I don't know what's happening. No, go away. Sorry about that. All right, I'm just gonna let that open in the background. It should take not too long. So again, like I was saying, the idea here is that we can actually go and extract the feature line, tie our grading objects or our parcels directly to that feature line, and it will be dynamically linked so that as I update and modify the corridors, right, everything is going to update. Right? It ties everything into a dynamic structure, and that's very common with Civil 3D, whether it's in the roadway design, in the pipe networks, corridors, sections, cross sections. The dynamic interaction that you can tie between all of these different Civil 3D features, right, is going to have a major impact on your day-to-day output. Right? And that's the kind of thing that we stress and we really work with our clients to help them develop that level of understanding within all of their personnel. Right? And I'm sorry, I'm just kind of waiting here for Civil 3 to come back up. All right, I don't know exactly what happened there, but it is Civil 3D, and as we all know, right, any AutoCAD or Autodesk programs, right, when you exceed memory limits, they have a chance to lock up, and that tends to happen sometimes when I'm doing these because I'm doing the video and audio share from my computer. So just give it one moment here to finish its load, right, and I'll get back into the presentation. I apologize for making you guys wait. The other thing I will say while this is finishing loading is that if you guys have questions and comments, anything you'd like to ask about any of the things we're talking about here today, please type them in to your questions box or your chat box as we're working, right? And I'll be happy to answer those. It will take a minute or so at the end of the presentation just to answer a few of the questions that I see coming in, right? So assuming I ever get back into Civil 3D here, you know, the Drawing Recovery Manager is a great thing, but it also just slows down reload after you tie up. Right, so okay, good. All right, so see, it teases me. It lets me think I'm loaded in, and it's not quite there yet. Okay, so yeah, I do see a couple of questions coming in, which is good. Come on, Civil 3D, wake up. There's nothing worse than trying to do a presentation and having the software decide that it doesn't want to work today. Come on. Well, at least the reality is you see that everybody has these problems. It's not just your staff. Okay, so there we go. So let me go back in, and I'm going to go back over here to my Start tab, and let me pull back up the All right, and do it the other way. I clicked the wrong button now. Yeah, that's not what I wanted. Close that, close that. Go to the Open button. And what were we talking about? The dynamic feature line example. That's what we're about to get into. Sorry. All right, here we go. All right, now we're much better off. We're back in business again. Okay, so what I'm talking about here, right, is a pretty straightforward process. When you have a corridor, and you can see that in this drawing, you got a pretty simple corridor working, right? That within any corridor, you can actually go in and extract feature lines along any of your objects. So you can see that I've already, just to save us some time here today, I've already done that. You can kind of see this green feature line here that I'm kind of clicking and highlighting. I've already extracted the back of curb, right, from my simple corridor here. It's a design corridor, right? So I don't necessarily have daylighting here going off the edge. I'm going to go from the back of curb out into a subdivision design, okay? So what do we do with that? So I've got that feature line, right? So it's a very simple thing, right? First thing I want to show you guys is that when you extract those feature lines, right, if you go to your feature line properties, you see that you have this option. Like I said, this is where that, training your people to know more than just click here, get that result, that when they understand what's going on with the options and the settings, you see here that what I've done is I've created a dynamic link between the corridor, right, and this particular daylighting feature line, right? So this green line is dynamically linked to the corridor. So on a very basic level, just to kind of show you, you can see the green line here. When the corridor gets updated or moved, right? So if I just go in and I update the corridor, say let's move the alignment over to here, right? You see the corridor updates with the alignment, and that green feature line went with it, okay? Even though it's an independent feature line, it's not part of the corridor anymore, right? It is still there. And I got like a property line thing going on over there. So I'm just going to erase that. So what I can do then is I can easily go in, right? And I can go into my grading creation tools, and I can use that feature line that's tied to the corridor, right, as a start point for my subdivision. So say I always want to go up here and I want to grade to a specific distance, right? So I'm just going to go in, I'm going to create a grading, right? And I'm going to start with that feature line, right? And I'm going to grade to that side, right? Apply it to the entire length, right? And now it's asking me for a distance. So let's say I wanted to go in on this particular setup, right? And let's say we need a 15-foot setback line, right? So I'm just going to go in, I'm going to offset it 15 feet, right? And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use a slope on this one, right? And I'll set it for a slope of, let's set it for 3 to 1. And you see it creates a grading object all the way along. And now I can just continue on, right, using the same setup. Now I'm going to use this feature line, right, grading objects create feature lines, and I'm going to offset that to this side, right? And again, I'm going to apply it to the entire length and say this time I'm going to go 25 feet, right? And I'm going to use a grade. So we're going to create this is going to be our front yard, right? And I want to make sure that I have on a grade, I want a 3% positive grade. So I'll just put a 3%. Right, so you see I've got my setback area, I've got my front yard, and I'm just going to continue one more, and I'm going to create my building envelope, okay? Right, and I'm going to make it 75. Right, and really what I'm doing here is, again, on this one, I'm just going to go back and do another slope, right? And this time I wanted to kind of do a backyard break, so I'm going to put a minus 2% slope. I'm sorry, yeah, minus, that'll be a 2 to 1. Sorry, I meant to do that as a grade, but all right, that's fine. Good enough. It's going to be a little steep, but sure, why not? There you go. All right, so now you see I've kind of gotten a flat area there, right? And that's how I can create my grading objects. And I can also turn on automatic surface creation, so it's building surfaces as I go here, right? But the key takeaway from this, right, is that I built, my grading objects. They're all linked together, but they're all linked and tied into this feature line, this original feature line extracted from the corridor. So now if I go back and I modify that corridor in any way, so say for example, just for visual purposes, I need to move this back over to here. Watch what happens to my grading objects. It takes a second to update them. Boom, just like that. All of my design, all of my corridor changes will adjust themselves. Same thing when I go into my corridor and I change the road slope, or if I update, the design road in the profile, right? Whatever work I'm doing, right? It will automatically update and adjust all of my grading and all my grading objects, right? So I've got the actual surfacing all done, and I'm using my road, my corridor here, as a single point of interface to adjust everything. So I've got a good steady upslope and cross slope, regardless of whether this goes up 400 feet and down 600 feet. The associated lots will all update themselves as they tie to that center line corridor. So it's a very, very easy way to be able to go in and control it. And like I said, it really comes down to understanding Civil 3D and how it really works. And where Zentech helps your folks with that, right, is like we sell the Autodesk the Civil 3D software, but we also provide extensive training on it, right? Really, in particular, on its advanced features, going well beyond what you'll find in most Autodesk resellers, which is, the introduction to Civil 3D. And we do those, right? But we also do advanced Civil 3D topics that you really have a hard time finding. Your roadway rehab, storm and sanitary analysis, start to finish on corridors, pipe networks, CAD management for Civil 3D. Right? We offer all kinds of training options. We also do additional training for not just Civil 3D, but for Revit and all the other AutoCAD related, architectural, MEP, whatever you guys need in any of those venues. All right, we can help you with all of your Autodesk related training. All right, so with that said, I'm going to take a minute and read some of the questions that we had coming in here. So first question that I had, all right, is from Mike. Mike wanted to know, is it possible with the add-ons to import line work and the points at the same time, or do they have to be separate tasks? No, with PConnect, Mike, you can absolutely bring the points and the line work in one shot. Okay, and it's really, really simple. Also, can you import 2D and 3D polylines at the same time, or is it separate tasks? Nope, same thing. I can just use that. If you remember the checkbox that I showed you, right, I can just hit both 2D and 3D polylines, right? And I usually put the 3D polylines onto their own individual layer called 3D poly, all right, so that I can easily isolate those, freeze them, turn them off, and I use those just for surface creation. Okay, so hopefully that answered your question there. Other questions? I got a question from Greg. Can you develop custom templates for road and geo work? Yeah, we work all the time with our clients here at ZenTek to build whatever civil 3D templates you guys need to your specific needs, symbols, colors, displays, layers, outputs, literally anything you guys need, we can help you develop that. So yeah, road and geo work, not a problem. Question from Julia. Can PConnect draft lines on my company's layer standards? Yeah, no, everything that you saw there, the layers and the structures that I was using with PConnect are just kind of our out of the box ZenTek ones. But absolutely, we can customize that and set those so that when you're doing your point import, it does all the drafting to your company standard layers. Okay. What else? I got a question from Samir. I hope that's Samir. Do you do custom classes for Civil 3D if we want to choose and set up specific topics or processes? Yes, absolutely. That's something else. We do a lot of public classes, and if you go to our website, like you saw on the slides, we've got a list of a lot of classes, but we will customize and build classes to whatever your specific topic requirements are that are run specifically for your company to your needs. The only thing to keep in mind here is we do have a minimum number of students, and I believe it's 4 students minimum for a custom class like that. Okay. Any other questions? I don't see any coming in. All right, so we're getting close to the end of time. So again, if you guys do have some more questions, just type them in and I'll jump on those. But thank you guys for sharing and asking questions. So just real quick, ZenTek, why would you want to work with us? Well, hopefully you guys got a good idea of what we can offer on the civil 3D side. But we, like I said earlier, are also experts in just about any type of software that you guys work with. We're Microsoft partners. We do the Smart Draft PConnect. We're the only US representatives for CAD Earth, which is a direct link between, allows you to move data back and forth from Google Earth into your Autodesk products, particularly Civil 3D. Even a great way to actually be able to import and build surfaces directly out of Google Earth terrain mesh data. Right? We work with PlanSwift and Bluebeam for markup and takeoff and estimating. So we're here to help you guys with all the different technologies that you may need, and we hope you'll keep us in mind. And other than that, thank you guys for taking the time today and being patient enough to sit through my little glitch there with Civil 3D. And you can hit our website, call us, or you can email us at the sales@ZenTekConsultants.net with any other questions, concerns, or anything at all that we can do to help you guys. I really appreciate you guys taking the time today, and I look forward to seeing you in future presentations. Have a great day.